On the edge of the galaxy, there was a planet called Zitharon. It was cold, full of sharp mountains and dark blue skies. Many alien houses lived there, but one of the strongest was the house of Baron Trask. He was tall, cold, and powerful. His people feared him. They called him the Iron Baron. One day, a human engineer named Raiden arrived on Zitharon. He had come to fix the planet's energy systems. Humans were rare here, and many aliens looked at him with curiosity, and some with hate. Baron Trask didn't like humans. He thought they were weak. So, during a royal dinner, he invited Raiden to his palace. The hall was huge, filled with strange lights and alien music. Many nobles sat on long tables, whispering and laughing. When Raiden entered, all eyes turned to him. He wore simple clothes, carried a small tool belt, and walked with quiet confidence. The Baron stood up and spoke loudly. "Welcome, human. I hear you fix things. Well, I have something broken for you." The nobles laughed. With a clap, 2 guards brought in a floating chair. On it sat a young alien girl. She was beautiful but pale, with long silver hair falling over her shoulders. Her eyes were glowing but sad. Her body didn't move at all. "This is my daughter, Valira," the Baron said with a cold smile. "She is broken, paralyzed, useless. I give her to you. Fix her if you can." The room filled with cruel laughter. Raiden didn't smile. He walked forward slowly and looked into Valira's eyes. Her face was calm, but her eyes were alive, full of something. Not pain, not fear. Something deeper. "What's her name?" he asked softly, even though he already knew. "Valira," the Baron repeated, bored. "And she can't move?" Raiden asked. "Not an inch. She was born like this. Many doctors tried. No one could help her. She is just a decoration now," the Baron said, sipping his drink. Raiden kneeled beside her. Her hand was resting on the arm of the chair. He reached out gently and touched it. "May I?" he asked her. Her fingers didn't move, but her eye blinked once. Slowly. "I'll take that as a yes," he whispered. Raiden turned to the Baron. "I'll take her," the nobles roared with laughter again. "You're serious?" one shouted. "A human fixing a cursed daughter?" Another sneered. Raiden ignored them. He gently placed his hand under Valira's chin and said, "They don't see you, but I do." With that, he stood up and pushed the floating chair out of the hall. The nobles kept laughing behind him, but he didn't care. Outside the palace, the cold wind hit his face. Stars above were shining like diamonds. Raiden looked down at the girl. "You're not broken," he said softly. "You're just waiting for someone to try." He took her to his small workshop on the edge of the alien city. It was messy, full of wires, machines, and old alien tech. But it was warm and quiet. He placed her chair near his workbench. For the first time, she was not in a cold stone room. He brought a blanket and wrapped it around her gently. He sat across from her. "My name is Raiden. I fix things. And I believe you're not useless," he said. Her eyes blinked once. "Slower this time." "You hear me, don't you?" he asked. She blinked again. Once, Raiden smiled. That night he didn't sleep. He sat beside her chair, drawing designs, thinking, building, planning. No one had ever tried to talk to her. No one believed she was still inside that body. But Raiden did. He didn't see a joke. He didn't see a curse. He saw a soul. And from that moment on, everything began to change. The next morning, the alien city outside was loud and busy. Airships flew overhead and strange alien creatures crawled through the glowing streets. But inside Raiden's small workshop, it was peaceful. Warm sunlight came through the round window, falling on Valira's face. She was still in her chair, quiet and unmoving, but her eyes were open. Raiden sat at his workbench, surrounded by wires and strange devices. He hadn't slept. He had been working all night on something simple but powerful. He turned to her, holding a small, flat device. "This," he said, "will help you speak, not with your mouth, but with your eyes." The device looked like a thin band with a small screen. It was designed to track her eye movements. He gently placed it on her forehead. Soft blue lights blinked. "Blink once for yes," he said. "Blink twice for no." He waited. Her glowing eyes stared into his. "Can you understand me?" he asked. "Blink." His heart jumped. She answered. She understood. He smiled and brought a small screen close to her. "I connected this with a basic writing program. Your eyes can control it. Try it." Her eyes moved slowly, carefully. Letters appeared one by one. The process was slow, but real. Then, the first word formed. "Why?" Raiden stared at the screen. His throat felt tight. One word, just 3 letters. But it hit him harder than anything. "Why?" he whispered. "Why are you like this? Why me? Why did they give you away?" He looked at her. "I don't know yet, but I promise, Valera, we will find out together." He made a small table beside her chair. It had tools, a food tray, and the screen. Each day he talked to her, asked her questions, told her stories about Earth. Slowly she started answering more. She wrote, "Cold. Light hurts. I like your voice. I want to move." One night she wrote something long. It took many minutes. When Raiden saw it, he read the line aloud with trembling lips. "I was awake every day. No one ever spoke to me until you." His hands shook. He looked at her and said, "You were never broken, Valera. They just never saw you." He started working on her body now, scanning her nerves, studying alien biology, combining human and Zithron tech. He found something strange. Her brain activity was strong. Her body was paralyzed but not dead. It could be triggered again. Maybe. He began building a prototype suit for her lower body. Something light. Something that could help her stand. As the days passed, the workshop changed. Valera's face became brighter. She smiled sometimes. Her eyes sparkled when he told her funny stories. She especially liked the one about human cats. "I want to touch one someday," she typed. "I'll build you a cat robot," Raiden joked. "You'll have 10 of them." They both laughed. Her voice only came from the speaker, but it was beautiful. Every day he adjusted the exosuit. It wrapped around her legs gently, sending soft pulses. The first time he turned it on, she flinched. Her leg twitched. Raiden dropped his tools in shock. "Did you feel that?" he asked Blink. "Can you do it again?" Her face tightened. She focused. Her foot moved again. Just a little. But it moved. Raiden laughed, shouting, "You did it, Valera." Her screen blinked. "Hurts. But good." He knew it would be a long road. She couldn't walk yet. The pain would come. Failure would come. But for the first time in her life, she had taken a step. Not with her feet, but with her spirit. And for Raiden, that spark was all he needed to light the fire that would change everything. The nights on Zithron were long and silent, with 2 moons watching over the alien city. Inside Raiden's small workshop, the quiet was filled with soft humming machines and blinking lights. Valera sat in her floating chair, her eyes fixed on the corner where Raiden worked. Wires were everywhere, tools scattered on the table. A hologram of her brain hovered in the air, spinning slowly. Raiden hadn't spoken in hours. He was deep in thought, building something small, but special. Finally, he turned around. "I think it's ready." He walked over to Valera, holding a thin device shaped like a collar. It had a soft inner layer and glowing lines along its edges. "This isn't just for speaking through the screen," he said gently. "This will let the world hear your voice." Valera blinked slowly. She looked unsure. "It connects to your brain signals," Raiden explained. "It will learn your patterns, your emotions, and then your words." She typed carefully. "What if it sounds ugly?" Raiden knelt beside her. "Then we'll change it. But I think your real voice is beautiful, no matter what." He placed the collar around her neck and pressed a button. The device made a soft hum. Small lights lit up around her throat. "Okay," he whispered. "Try thinking. One word. Something simple, anything." Valira's glowing eyes focused. Her face was still, calm, and then a tiny robotic voice crackled from the collar. "Hi." Raiden gasped. His hands trembled. "You did it." "That was you?" She blinked fast, tears forming in her golden eyes. The voice spoke again. "It's me." Raiden couldn't stop smiling. "Yes, Valira, it's you." Her next word came out shakier but clearer. "Thank you." For the next few days she trained. The voice was slow, sometimes broken, but Raiden kept improving the software. He tuned the sound, adjusted the pitch, and let her pick from voice samples. One day she said, "I want to sound soft, not weak, but kind." So he gave her a voice, gentle, smooth, and full of warmth. The first time she spoke in full sentence, she said, "I feel like I'm waking up after years of darkness." It wasn't just the voice. Something inside her had changed. Her posture, her eyes. She didn't just exist anymore, she lived. Raiden built a mirror beside her chair. He said she deserved to see the girl who fought so hard to speak. When she looked at herself, she whispered, "I don't look broken." He smiled. "You never did." But outside the workshop, things weren't quiet. The alien Baron, her father, had heard rumors that the human had made his useless daughter speak, that she was showing signs of walking, that she was changing. He sent spies. They watched. They reported. "She talks," one said. "She learns," another said, "and soon she might walk." The Baron's face darkened. "She was a symbol of shame," he growled. "Now, they will call her a symbol of hope. I will not allow that." Inside the workshop, Valira was preparing for her first real test. The new leg suit was almost finished. Raiden helped her train every day. Tiny movements, painful stretches, brain signals syncing with machines. Sometimes she fell. Sometimes she screamed. But every time she got back up, stronger than before. Raiden watched her in awe. Not because of the tech, but because of her heart. He had seen warriors, soldiers, heroes, but Valira, once voiceless, once forgotten, was stronger than all of them, and soon the galaxy would know it too. The morning air on Zetheron was sharp and cold, but inside the workshop, the warmth of determination filled the space. Raiden stood beside Valira, tightening the last strap of her new exoleg system. Her thin alien legs, once still for so many years, were now wrapped in a beautiful, light metal frame, gold lines glowing faintly across the surface. "Today," Raiden said softly, "you won't just move, you'll stand." Valira sat still in her floating chair. Her golden eyes stared at her legs. Fear and excitement danced in them like flickering fire. "Are you ready?" he asked. She nodded once. Then slowly, the chair lowered her to the ground. For the first time in her life, her feet touched the floor. The suit hummed. Soft energy flowed through it. Her muscles reacted to her thoughts. Clumsy, unsure, but real. Raiden stood close, ready to catch her. "Think of balance," he whispered. "You're not alone." Valira closed her eyes and focused. The suit responded. Her legs moved. First one, then the other. She rose. Not perfectly, not quickly. But she stood. Even if it was only for a few seconds, it felt like forever. I'm up," her voice box said, trembling. Raiden laughed with joy. "You're standing, Valira. You did it." She swayed, almost fell. But Raiden caught her gently and helped her back to the chair. Tears ran down her face. She wasn't ashamed. She wasn't weak. She was proud. From that day, training began. Every morning, she tried standing again. By afternoon, she could take a step, By the next week, she walked across the room, shaky, slow, but unstoppable. Raiden created rails on the wall, cushions on the floor, and sensors to guide her. The room became her training ground. Every time she fell, she laughed. Every time she stood back up, she grew stronger. One night, Raiden brought in music, soft human piano sounds. "Why music?" she asked. "Because," he smiled, "I think you're ready to dance." She laughed. Her first real laugh. "With you?" she teased. He bowed jokingly. "I would be honored." They didn't really dance. They just moved slowly across the floor, her hands in his, her feet struggling, her voice sometimes cracking from the effort. But in that moment, it was a dance of wires, strength, and hope. Outside, hidden behind a wall, a spy watched them. He turned on his communicator and spoke in a whisper. "She's walking, she's laughing, the human." He made her shine. The Baron heard the message and smashed his drink against the wall. "She was my shame. How dare she rise?" His advisor, an old noble, spoke carefully. "Your daughter may now become your greatest threat. Then we will remind her," the Baron said coldly, "that she is nothing without my name. And we will remind the human, he is still just a guest on this planet." But Valera didn't know the storm was coming. All she knew was that her legs were waking up. Her voice was stronger and her spirit no longer lived in a cage. One evening, as she walked from one end of the room to the other without falling, she turned to Raiden and said with a bright smile, "I'm not broken anymore." Raiden shook his head. "You were never broken." She looked down at her glowing suit, her trembling hands, her once useless body now alive and moving. "Then why do I feel brand new?" she whispered. Raiden smiled. "Because this is who you were meant to be." And as the stars above Zitharon blinked into night, Valera took her next steps, into a future no one ever believed she could have except one human. The great hall of House Trask was colder than usual. Thick red banners hung from the ceiling and armored guards stood silent in every corner. The Baron sat on his high throne made of obsidian stone, fists clenched, eyes burning with quiet rage. In front of him, 3 alien nobles stood nervously. They had come with news the Baron didn't want to hear. "Your daughter. She walks now," one said. "The human made it happen." The Baron's jaw tightened. "And she speaks," said another. "Not with a machine, with voice, with will." "People are starting to talk," the third noble added. "They say the Baron's daughter is no longer cursed." The Baron stood. His shadow stretched across the floor like a monster waking up. "She was given away," he growled. "A joke, a shame. She was never meant to rise." "But she has," said the old noble. "And they don't call her cursed anymore. They call her reborn." The Baron turned away, walking slowly toward the wide window behind his throne. Outside, ships flew across the sky, and in the far distance he could see a small light. Raiden's workshop. "Bring her to me," he said at last. "Not with kindness? With chains?" Meanwhile, inside the workshop, Valera stood without help. Her suit still supported her legs, but her steps were faster now, stronger. She didn't wobble anymore. Raiden watched her walk from one end of the room to the other. "Your balance is improving," he said. "Soon you won't need the support frame." Valera smiled. "I want to climb the palace stairs one day without stopping." Raiden chuckled. "We'll make that happen." But just then, the door burst open. 3 armed guards stepped in. Behind them stood a high officer of House Trask. Raiden stepped forward. "What's this?" The officer's voice was firm. "The Baron demands the presence of his daughter. Now." Valera's face froze. Her body tensed. Raiden stepped in front of her. "She's not property, she's free. You are given no right to keep her," the officer said coldly, "and the Baron will remind her of that." Before Raiden could speak again, Valera's soft voice echoed through the room. "I'll go." Raiden turned to her in shock. "Valera, it's time I faced him," she said, "but I'm not going alone." The palace was full of whispers when Valera entered, walking through the main gates with Raiden by her side. Nobles stared. Servants froze. Even the guards turned their heads in disbelief. Some remembered her as the lifeless girl in the floating chair. Others had forgotten she even existed, but none of them expected this. She walked, slowly with focus, but walked with her head high. When the heavy throne doors opened, the Baron stood waiting. His eyes locked on hers, not with love, not even hate, but confusion, disbelief. "You walk?" he asked. Valira nodded once. "I do." "And you speak?" "I've always had words," she said. "You just never wanted to hear them." The nobles gasped. The Baron's face darkened. "You are my daughter. You will return to this house. You will obey your place." Valira stepped forward. "My place is not beside a man who threw me away." The Baron stepped down from the throne, towering above her, eyes burning. "Everything you are now, every step, every breath, you owe to me. I let the human take you." Valira turned to Raiden, then back to her father. "No, he didn't take me. He chose me. Something you never did." For the first time in his life, the Baron had no words. The room was silent. Raiden stepped forward. "She doesn't need your house, or your name. She built her own strength." The Baron stared at them, his daughter standing tall and the human who helped her rise. Then he turned away. "Get out of my sight," he said. Valira didn't move for a moment. Then she said, "This is the last time you'll see me as weak." She turned around and walked away, not looking back. And this time it was the Baron who was left in silence. The city of Zitharon had never seen anything like it. On the rooftops, alien children pointed at the sky. Market traders stopped their work. Soldiers lowered their weapons, eyes wide with wonder. Because above the city, someone was flying. Not in a ship. Not in armor. It was a girl. An alien girl with silver white hair and glowing gold eyes, soaring through the sky in a sleek, beautiful flight suit of human and alien tech. Valira. She wasn't just walking anymore. She was rising. Raiden had worked for weeks without rest. He took the same tech that helped her legs move and turned it into wings. Soft, curved extensions on her back, powered by ion boosters and mind-controlled sensors. The suit was light, fast, and graceful, just like her. "Why fly?" she had asked him once, sitting under the stars. "Because," he said, "you were trapped in one place for too long. Now the sky should know your name." On the first test flight, she only lifted a few feet. But now she glided over the towers of Zitharon like a comet of hope. Her smile lit up brighter than the moon's. On the ground, people began to gather, not to mock, but to cheer. "Is that the Baron's daughter?" someone whispered. "No," another said. "That's Valira, the girl who beat fate." In the workshop, Raiden stood beside a screen showing her flight stats. His hand hovered near a safety switch, but he didn't press it. She didn't need saving anymore. Instead, he smiled, watching her trail of light stretch across the sky. But not everyone was smiling. Across the city, in a quiet, shadowed palace, another noble house watched from a dark chamber. House Chiral, an old rival of Baron Trask. Their leader, Lady Sharza, narrowed her cold blue eyes. "This girl," she said, "was supposed to be a shame. Now she's becoming a symbol." A warrior beside her said, "They call her the Phoenix of Zitharon." "That must end," Lady Sharza said. "We will not let her rise while our name fades." They began to plan. That evening, Valira landed outside the workshop. Her silver suit folded away into her back, revealing her normal armor underneath. Raiden rushed to meet her. "You flew for over 30 minutes, he said, amazed. "No warnings, no system crashes." Valira smiled. "My body remembers the pain, but my heart remembers the sky." She paused, then looked up. "Do you think people really see me now?" Raiden nodded. "Yes, and not just as a daughter, or a patient. They see you, the girl who refused to stay on the ground." Suddenly, the lights in the workshop flickered. Alarms beeped. Raiden's smile vanished. Proximity alert. They ran inside. A message flashed on the screen. Unauthorized ship entering airspace. Before they could act, the explosion hit. A blast tore through the side of the building, sending sparks and smoke into the air. Metal cracked. Glass shattered. Raiden pulled Valira to the ground, covering her with his body. When the dust cleared, they heard footsteps. Armored warriors, House Kyril soldiers, entered the burning workshop. By order of Lady Sharza, the leader said, "The flying girl is a threat. She must be erased." Raiden stood up, coughing. "She's not a threat. She's a light." The warrior raised a blaster. Valira stepped forward, her eyes glowing. "Then let me burn." Before they could react, her wings extended with a metallic snap, the boosters glowing bright. She launched upward, kicking through the smoke, grabbing Raiden's arm and flying them both through the roof into the night sky. Behind them, the workshop collapsed in flames. But Valira didn't fall. She flew, faster than ever, stronger than ever, and below them the people of Zitharon watched the fire rise, and the girl who rose higher. The workshop was gone. What once stood as a quiet place of hope now lay in ruins, burned metal, cracked walls, and shattered dreams. But above the ashes, something stronger had already taken flight. Valira, her name now whispered through every street of Zitharon, not as the broken girl, not as the Baron's curse, but as the girl who rose. Raiden and Valira had taken shelter in an old mountain outpost outside the city. Wind howled through the cliffs, and snow fell in soft white sheets. But inside the stone walls there was warmth, firelight, tools, wires, and the sound of two hearts that refused to give up. Raiden adjusted her flight suit again. This time, it wasn't for flying, it was for war. "They'll come again," he said, voice low. "They want to silence your story." Valira looked at him, eyes calm. "Then we tell it louder." She placed her hand on his. "We end this." Across the city, the nobles of House Kyril marched toward the palace. Led by Lady Sharza, their soldiers surrounded the Baron's throne room. "You lost control of your daughter," Sharza said coldly, "and now she shames every house." The Baron said nothing. He just stared at the large door. Waiting, outside, thunder rumbled. Not from the sky, but from the skies being broken. A sound like fire and wind roared overhead, and then the glass ceiling shattered. Valira flew in like lightning, her wings spread wide, her armor glowing, her body no longer fragile, but fierce. Raiden landed beside, her suit sparking with energy. He held a defense shield in one hand, a blaster in the other. Gasps filled the hall. "You dare enter this place like a warrior?" Lady Sharza shouted. "I do," Valira answered calmly. "Because that's what I am now." Soldiers rushed forward. Raiden stepped in front, shield up. "I won't let you touch her." Valira took the sky again, soaring around the hall, her movements fast and beautiful. She wasn't just escaping gravity, she was dancing with it. She struck with precision, not to kill but to disarm. Her aim was clean. Her flight, perfect. Raiden fought on the ground, protecting her back. Side by side they moved like they had trained forever. The nobles fell back. In seconds, silence returned. Lady Sharza, face twisted with rage, raised a hidden weapon, but before she could fire, "Enough." The Baron's voice echoed through the hall. Everyone froze. He stood from his throne, walking down slowly. His eyes met Valira's, no longer with anger, but something else, recognition. He looked at the nobles, then at his daughter. "I gave her away because I thought she was broken," he said quietly. "But the truth is, I was the broken one." Valira didn't speak. She only listened. "I tried to erase her from the world," the Baron said, "and the world chose to remember her anyway." He turned to Sharza. "You speak of shame," he growled, "but I see pride. Not in my name, but in hers." Lady Sharza lowered her weapon. She had lost. The people of the city would never follow her now. Days later, A statue was placed in the center of Zitharon, a girl in flight, her wings wide, her face calm, strong, free. Below it, words were carved in 3 languages. She rose because one man believed. She flew because she chose to. They became legend because they never gave up. Valira and Raiden stood together looking up at the statue. "I never wanted this," she said quietly. "And that's why you deserve it," Raiden replied. She turned to him, smiling softly. "Will you keep flying with me?" He reached out and gently took her hand. "Until the stars burn out." And together they walked forward. 2 souls who refused to stay broken. 2 hearts who changed a world.